for the last. It's all in your head, how you think you manifest. So get ready to rise, cause we about to be the best. Gotta switch it up, gotta break the old habits. Get your mind right, turn your dreams into habits. No negative vibes, only positive thoughts.
What is up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Mindset Cafe podcast. It's your boy Devin and your boy.
What's up, guys? Nick.
And today, we're getting towards the end of the year, and we've talked on the last couple podcast episodes, the live episodes, about finishing the year off strong. Nick was on one, Matt was on one, and we want to kind of encompass that a little bit more so. And what does it really mean, right? We talked about not waiting until January 1st, not waiting until Mondays, right, to get things going. But that whole concept comes around the fact of you have to be relentless, right? You have to be relentless in the pursuit of your goals, the pursuit of your vision. Because if you have something that's in your mind and it's a vision, it's a dream, right? Those are interchangeable words. It's only going to stay there unless you become relentless on your desire to achieve that goal, right? Mm-hmm. And there's a book that was written by Tim Grover, and it's actually titled Relentless. And that's, where some of this is going to come from today too. But Nick and I wanted to go over, some of the aspects of being relentless, the different personality types of relentless individuals and what separates people. But really kind of describing what relentless is. I mean, it's realizing that you have to have the mindset that you're never satisfied with what you've already achieved. Right? Yes, you can give yourself a pat on the back, right? Yes, you can acknowledge that you've achieved a milestone, but you can't be satisfied with just being there, right? You have to stay hungry, because if you don't stay hungry and you're not trying to achieve the next level or take the next step, then you're just starving. Yeah, may not be starving right now, but you will be starving, because in life, there's only two ways that you go. You're either growing or you're dying. A business, it either grows or it dies. There is no stagnation on life, right? You think that you're comfortable. Well, times start changing. People start, evolving. People start getting better, and then your dreams and stuff are in the rear view mirror, right?
I think that that applies to everything too. Like things that we don't normally think about, like even your health and fitness goals. Like if you're not progressing and your body acclimates to what your new standard is, like your better version is dying too. You said earlier, damn, I forgot what you said. What separates
the different personality types?
Yeah, I was like, what separates the big dogs from the little dogs with their tail tucked between their legs?
No, but it's true. I mean, even going into fitness, though, right? Like you're saying, you might hit your fitness goals, right? And you might even, let's say, be able to maintain the regimen that you're doing, the nutrition that you're doing for a certain amount of time, right? But the body might acclimate to it, and now you have to work a little bit harder to maintain what you're doing. But what people don't realize is you also hit a certain age, and now your body doesn't function the way it used to function, right?
Yeah, we're in our
30s, 30 going on 60.
That's being nice, bro.
My shoulder cracking just doing this.
My back is 85.
I know I was sleeping on my daughter's floor the other day. I was she has to go to sleep with one of us in the room, and I was laying there and I ended up falling asleep in the process. And I woke up in the morning and Gabby was like, I was looking at the camera, I didn't see you, and I was like, what the heck? And I opened the door and you were asleep, she was asleep, and I was like, I got up my back, I was like, oh my God, I was like, I feel like I'm 80 years old. I was like, this is ridiculous. But yet in college, you would sleep on the floor and, wake up and get up and keep going. Mm-hmm. So it's one of those things where, obviously that's a different case scenario, but realize that the body starts to age just like your goals and your vision, right? You might be okay and satisfied with that right now, but if you're not trying to achieve a little bit more and get 1% better every single day, then again, you're only going to be going down, because as you grow or as you age, then again, those goals you had one set for yourself aren't going to naturally be aligned with where you currently are.
Yeah,
right.
I think and that's a great point, as far to the extent that we have to realize that as you evolve and as you like you said, as you grow, so should your goals, or so should your the next tier, the next step that you're trying to attain for whether that's health, fitness, your body, business, career wise, financial, relationship. It's like it hits a stagnant point at a certain time, and it's like realizing that whatever that current milestone or goal that you are trying to achieve, and once you have achieved it, it shouldn't be your end all be all, right? Because like there's always more, what I mean? Because like the thing is, like the way I like to think of things is always on like and I know where this came from, on a time horizon. It's all about a time horizon, meaning like time is going to continue to keep going, but you never know when yours is going to be up specifically. So until that time comes, time is going to keep moving. So should you and your goals.
Yeah, but I mean, like, let's take it into like the business aspect, right? Or in the professional field, right? Because even if you're not an entrepreneur, that's completely fine. And I actually had a conversation, side note, I had a conversation with someone the other day, and I was a guest on a fitness podcast, and they were talking about, personal trainers and gym owners, and then with us franchising, who we were talking to, and they, he thought that we were talking to people that were trainers that wanted to become gym owners. And I was like, honestly, not necessarily. Like, a lot of people that I actually speak to are fitness enthusiasts that want to become entrepreneurs and so forth, right? And then his question was, so what would your response be to someone that wants to open a gym and be a personal trainer? And I basically told him, I was like, you can't be both, right? If you want to be a personal trainer, by all means, right? It's a great career and you can make that a profession. But if you want to be a gym owner, it's a mindset shift that you need to now realize you need to build your team, and it's not about you anymore, right? Your personal connections that you love having with your clients, that now evolves to the personal connections that you have with your members or your trainers, clients and stuff, and then you with your trainers. But realizing that whatever your goals are, you don't need to have the same goals as someone else. Just because one trainer wants to become a gym owner doesn't mean that's the natural progression of every trainer, right? So we were both trainers, we became gym owners. That's not going to be the fit for the next person. That's fine, right? Whatever your passion is, whatever your goal is, that's okay. You don't have to adapt your goal to what society says you should adapt it to. If your fulfillment comes from, let's say personal training, we'll stick with this field. If your fulfillment comes from being a personal trainer, then you can grow that, right? You can continue to do that, and that's okay, right? Your growth within that is becoming a better personal trainer, being able to adapt to more clients, maybe becoming a trainer for celebrities or whatever the case may be. You can always get better in the field that you want. You don't have to naturally level up in a progression that says, I was this and now I have to become this, right? There's progressions within the same thing as well. Like, we're gym owners, we're franchise owners, and now all of a sudden it's not like, okay, well, what's next besides franchise owner, right? It's like, no, like now we're just becoming better franchise owners, bigger franchise owners, and so forth. But the reason I bring that up is the personality types that I was talking about from Tim Grover's, Relentless book is there's coolers, there's cleaners, there's coolers, there's closers, and there's cleaners, right? Now, thinking of a cleaner, you're like, what? Why is that the last one? Because the cooler is like, it's good. Closers, they're great, but cleaners, those are the unstoppable ones. And let's take it into like the athletic side of it, right? A cooler is someone that you can put on the floor or on the court, and they do all right. They can hold their own, right? It's your safety player. It's not anything crazy. Then you have your closers, right? Those ones are the ones that when a game-winning shot needs to be taken, you're a little more comfortable giving them the ball and so forth. But they probably perform about 80% of the time, right? They have their off days. And then you have your cleaners. Those are the ones that are unstoppable. Those are the Kobe Bryants, the LeBron James, Michael Jordans, right? Those are what other sports we got?
The Tom Brady's.
Like, those are the people that they have a different side to them. Those are the ones that people see as like not natural, right? But that it's not because that they have anything different genetically with them. It's the mindset they've developed around becoming the best at what they do, the best at so their goal is becoming the best basketball player, best football player, best whatever, right? For us, being the best entrepreneurs that we could be, best franchise owners that we could be, right? We're the cleaners. Our mentality around being the cleaner of that, right? We don't want to just be closers, be great and be okay, right? But with that mentality, you get to realize that you're going to the gym, let's say, you're going to the gym when no one's looking. You're not doing things for social media and for praise, and you're doing things because you know that they level you up. For example, like Kobe Bryant, he would spend 2 hours, 3 hours warming up and practicing before practice started. Cleaners are the kind of people that you need to tell you need to go home.
Yeah.
Like you need rest.
Yeah.
Right. Those are the ones that are not even almost, they are obsessed with getting that vision. And that is being truly relentless in not accepting anything else than what you believe within yourself.
Yeah. And like, I like that we're using this kind of example because, with like that Tom Brady thing, I forgot who the person was that was talking about it, but they used to talk about going to, I think, the same college as Tom Brady, but Tom Brady would already, before his whole career being like the GOAT of football, that he spoke about it, and that's what his goal was. So he would, before practice, before anything, he would be one of the first people in the weight room. And then that person that was talking about him was like, oh, I was trying to outwork him and try to show up early. And it was like, I'm probably butchering the actual time, but it was like he would be in the gym at like 5 or whatever before anyone else, and that person would try to compete with him and get there before him and stuff like that. So what Tom Brady did was, by the time that person got in at 5, Tom Brady was already finishing up his weight training. But it's the breakdown of the mentality of doing not just what's like required, it's going above and beyond. And that doesn't mean they don't have off days. Right. It's the fact of, you're gonna feel shitty. You're not gonna feel like doing things you need to do every single day. I'm sure most of the time, I'm sure everybody doesn't want to do what they need to do. But it's the fact of putting your body and like just you yourself, like your whole entity, through getting the work done as with the best effort and intention forward, and accomplishing it is what separates the coolers from like the cleaners. Like, you know what I mean? It's yeah.
No, I mean, it's true. And it all begins and it ends with your mindset, right? Your goals, your vision, your business, right? It begins and it ends with you, right? If you have a team, or if you're a part of a team, you have to realize that you can only elevate them by elevating yourself, right? And that doesn't mean that you have to, try to motivate them and talk. You lead by example, right? So someone like Kobe Bryant or someone like Tom Brady doing those things and putting the extra hours in, other people noticed it enough to comment that we're talking about it right now, right? And it's almost like you have to have like a dark side to you, and that dark side isn't a bad thing. That's that, again, going to Kobe, but like that Mamba mentality, right? It's like you put a different mask on, right? And it's almost like a different persona of you, so that when you check in, you're checked in, right? And you're not doing anything that you wouldn't naturally do or say. Like, you're not all of a sudden becoming a dick or anything. It's just, now it's like, this is game time. So it's like, when your mask is on, like, it's game time, right? You put your hard hat on, you punch your time card in, you go to work, right? But realize that there's power in that dark side, right? That's that competitive side of you. And you have to realize that that competitive side of you, it is fueled off of your belief in yourself, but also the doubts of others, right? When stuff like Dana White, whether you like him or don't, I think he's hilarious and he's awesome, but he's the owner, or he was the owner. He's the CEO and president of the UFC. He had a saying, he said, basically, bet against me. Say it's not going to work. Say it's not going to work out. He was like, I fucking love it.
Yeah.
He was like, and that's the mentality you have to have, right? People told us, like, not to open a gym or not to start a business, and because it's risky, bet against us. People said not to launch a franchise. Why would you do that? Just, do open a second location, open a third location. It's safer. Again, we love it. Yeah. Like, we love the struggle, in not just, the struggle, but like basically the obstacles that are getting put, because we know every obstacle that gets put in front of us is an opportunity for growth.
Yeah.
Right. We're not the same person we were a month ago, let alone a year ago, let alone 3 years ago when we first opened this gym. Right. But you can't grow unless you face a setback, or basically obstacles, or, adversity, and all those kind of things. All that makes you better. Right. So I think that's where it really comes into. You have to understand that you have to master your own mind and really start to try to toughen your mindset, because again, it begins and it ends with you.
Yeah, it's like I'm sure it goes for both of us. Like like what you were just talking about, the you know, the dark side. It's like when people like kind of doubt you or tell you can't do something, it's just that you give them that look and it's like that, watch me.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like watch me, because it's and I think everybody is capable, you know, to, or has that side of them to a certain extent. I think it's more so just accessing it or tapping into it, or maybe even like when the certain thing or you know, the goal or whatever you're trying to attain or whatever is like, it means enough to you. Because like from what you also mentioned was the fact of you know, going away towards something. So to me, like when people want something or they're trying to get somewhere, it's either because they are trying to, or I said that wrong. What? It's like, you know, when people are, when we, oh God.
Take 3.
Mental block. All right, try this again. Like when we do something, anything, it's either it's because we're trying to get somewhere or we're trying to run away from something, right? Run away meaning it could be derived from fear, and that's where that dark energy or that dark headspace or that mask on can come from. When I say fear, it doesn't mean like, oh, I'm afraid of something. It could be that you're afraid to fail, or you're afraid of those people being right about you, which starts that thought process of like that dark side. Like, all right, I don't want this person to be right. I don't want them to be right that I can't do this or fail at this certain thing. And that's what like ignites the spark for you to fucking bust your ass and like put in every single effort to drive you forward.
Right.
Does that make sense? There we go.
Yeah. I mean,
I got it. I did it.
I was about to put one of those SpongeBob things in. 3 hours later. No,
you know when you
no, it does definitely make sense, right? And I think it's understanding that your mental toughness and having the fear, because I mean, going into the fear of it, it's like you can be fearful that it's not going to work out, right? And you can be fearful of taking that leap, but you have to be more fearful and have more fear of being where you're at for the rest of your life, never growing, right? I don't have fear if we'll be successful. Like, I know it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. That's what I say all the time, right? It's my fear is letting everyone else down, right? So my fear of letting everyone else down and not achieving what we set out for is more fearful than taking the next risk, right? And so you have to, you know, you're always going to have fear, but it's like, what do you fear? You know, it's a balance, right? Mm-hmm. And that dark side, it's a good thing, right? And you have to realize that, like, you have to have time. There's a time and a place for it, right? When you're at home, right, that dark side, that competitive side isn't there. But when you're at work, like, I've told my wife this before, like, your coworkers are your coworkers, your friends are your friends, your coworkers are not your friends, mm-hmm. right? You could be friendly with your coworkers, but at the end of the day, you have to have that dark side in you. And that doesn't mean putting other people under the bus or whatever, but at the same time, you have to realize if that person were to get a promotion opportunity over you, do you think they would throw you under the bus? So be careful what you tell them. Yeah. Right. Stuff like that. But now coming into, let's say, the fitness space, when someone tells you you can't do something, you don't need to sit there and argue with them. Just smile or just grin, right? Because it's like, thank you for extra fuel. Like, mm-hmm. I was losing motivation. Guess what? You just gave me some. Yeah. You know, that's, I mean, everything that we've built and continue to build, that when someone says something or gives us those, that it just makes me smile. Because it's like, you don't understand the kind of personality types that we have, right? But that wasn't necessarily built to the degree it is now in one day. It's built off the consistent proofs and the consistent bricks that we've laid, proving to ourselves that we do what we say we do, right? When we tell ourselves that we're going to do something, we fucking do it, right? We said we were going to open a gym. We did it, right? We said we were going to launch a franchise. We did it. You know, I said I was going to close a franchise. We did it. Right. Like and it's one of those things where, like, believe me, there was times throughout that process that both of us had doubt, right? That if the franchise was ever going to launch, if we're going to close one, if we're going to get to our membership goal, whatever the case is, all those things happen within that time frame. But then you accomplish it, and then you're not worried about it anymore, right? And now you know that it's not about, is it going to happen today? You know, is it going to happen tomorrow? It's like, it's going to happen. I just need to put the reps in and continue to do what I need to do. Do I need to tweak anything? Do I need to try something else? Do I need to talk to somebody, right? And get some advice? Those kind of things. You can go and get those resources, but that's where that competitive side comes out, where it's like, no matter what, there's no plan B. My goal is this, and I'm not settling for anything else besides this.
Yeah.
Right. And is it okay to change your goal sometimes? Yeah, your goal can be adaptable, but don't let it be adaptable because you're sacrificing or you're settling.
Yeah.
Right.
As you were saying that, I like had an epiphany. Like, it's crazy that, you know, we talk about external in
Motivation, input.
Well, yeah, external input, like people like doubting us and, like, you know, kind of saying that we can't do something. But I'm gonna use the fitness as an example. A lot of people, like even people that come to try the gym, like, you know, they're afraid or they're intimidated, or even actually, you know what, even like regular members or even people that just go to any other gym, they're afraid to start, or they're afraid to do a program, to do a challenge, or to set a goal to lose a weight, gain some muscle, lose body fat, whatever it is. And they're afraid because of the previous actions that they've taken, or the history that they've come to learn with the actions that they've done that has led them to fail, right? But if you take a step back and look at it, that's you. That's why that you versus you is like, it hits harder than most people think, because you versus you, because that you that's telling yourself or creating that internal doubt that you can't do something is that negative energy that if you just took that and used that as the dark fuel to push you forward to say, you know, fuck that. I'm going to prove myself wrong. I'm going to prove my old self wrong that was used to always failing, used to not keeping consistent, always dropping out at the new year, new me. It's like, that you telling yourself that negative, that's like that good, that, what is it, angel devil type of thing. It's like, sometimes like we need to realize, like, you know, fitness, like career wise, you're afraid to, you know, take that step to ask for a promotion or apply for a new job or whatever it may be. It's because maybe previously, like, you didn't get a certain job or you didn't get a promotion. So what? You know, you can't let that old you or that external side of you keep feeding you that negative talk, and then keep you where you are. You got to use that to turn your dark mode on and actually get you somewhere. Because if not, I mean, that's why I like what we say, that like the only person that's holding you back is the person staring right back at you in the mirror.
Right. Your biggest competition is the one staring you back in the mirror. Right. And I mean, like, having mental toughness and building that up, like it's non-negotiable for achieving your goals at the end of the day. Right. If you want to achieve your goals, you have to start with your mindset. Everything starts in your mind. Your vision started in your mind. Your goals started in your mind. So your belief in yourself and you betting on yourself also starts in your mind, right? You may not have the self-confidence or the self-belief fully there yet, but you have to understand and believe in yourself that you will try until you achieve it, right? Until you succeed. You will never give up, right? Because you can't defeat a person that always gets back up, right? You can't defeat a person that will never give up. Right. And you have to have the ability, or at least the understanding, that you're going to have discomfort, but you already know that you're going to push through that discomfort. Mm-hmm. You're going to face obstacles. You're going to face criticism. You're going to face setbacks. And you have to realize that you can't lose focus on what is your purpose, what is your why, what is your goal. Right. And then as you start to achieve the mini milestones within your marathon to your goal, right, you start to build a stronger and more bulletproof self-belief and self-confidence, right? And don't get me wrong, I mean, not everyone is the right person for a relentless mindset, right? Does everyone have the capability? Yes. right? Just like everyone has the capability of being an entrepreneur, but is being an entrepreneur for everyone? Absolutely not, right? Because at the end of the day, you have to be able to handle the pressure that comes with it, right? If you set your goals high, nothing can stop you from achieving those goals if you are relentless in your pursuit to them. But if you are just willing to have a little bit of discomfort or face a little bit of adversity, then the first, left turn is gonna, be like, oh fuck, I'm on the wrong path, right? So you have to realize that you're going to really have to dig deep and really pull out, and
I just got
hold up.
That's what you said.
Don't pull anything out.
Leave it in there.
But what I meant to say is like, you're gonna have to dig deep inside yourself and really focus on the grit and like that internal motivation, right? Don't worry about all the external influences and external, voices that are coming to you. There's gonna be some sacrifice, right? Launching a gym, launching a franchise, we've sacrificed time. We've sacrificed time with our families, time with loved ones. We've sacrificed, financially, to get our dreams off. Like, it depends on what your goal is. Is it to, lose 10 pounds? Is it to have the body before your pre-baby body, which I've heard multiple times? Well, then you're going to have to sacrifice something, right? When you had your baby, for example, you had to sacrifice a lot of things with a newborn. Believe me, I know, I've been there, right? And it's one of those things where like you did it because, your goal was raising a newborn. Same thing goes for you getting back to that. You are now having to treat your goal like a newborn in the beginning, and then you start to adapt to it and your lifestyle changes around it. But sometimes you might have to sacrifice an hour of sleep to get a little workout in. You might have to sacrifice, going out to eat with friends because you're not mentally strong enough to go to that restaurant, right? So it's like there is sacrifice, but you have to realize that winning is everything. And if someone tells you winning is not, then they're fucking comfortable with where they're at.
Yeah.
Right. You already know, I already know, we're both competitive people. I don't like losing. And that doesn't just go for in sports. That's for anything. If we hop on the treadmills, I guarantee I will refuse to get off before you if that's what the goal was. If that's what the bet was. Right. That's the mentality that you have to have. Winning and achieving your goal is everything. Right? Whatever your goal may be. Right. But what would your take be on knowing winning is everything, knowing that there's going to be sacrifice? You've mentioned this before, so I want you to talk about it, but preparation.
Okay. Yeah. I mean,
the importance of it.
Yeah. I mean, knowing that you said winning is everything.
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, preparation is not H, not preparation H, like preparing yourself to,
oh, is that your butt cream?
I don't have that. No, I don't have that. But preparing yourself, not, well, let me preface that, like, don't, without overthinking either, you know what I mean? Not preparing for every little circumstance or anything and everything that can go wrong, but preparing yourself like to the best of your ability, for any circumstance that may arise, is going to only set you up for success. In knowing that if like your goal should be to win in everything, you know what I mean? And like the only way to be able to set yourself up for success in overcoming any obstacle or in every single obstacle is being prepared to the very best that you can within that time frame in that moment. You know what I mean? Perfection is not the goal. Like it's not gonna be perfect. Like any goal or thing you're trying to achieve, however you envision it in your head, best believe you're not gonna get there exactly how you drew it. It's gonna go like you think it's like this, but it's actually like this. You know what I mean? People that have relentless mentality, they're not concerned with perfection, but like the consistent improvements and like being able to execute like on a regular basis, like putting in the action on a consistently, even when you don't feel like it. Like this is something that I was going to add on like the toughness part of it. Like hopefully some people that hear this can use that as like a tactical practice. It's like when you know you got to do something, or you're trying to work towards something, it's the little actions, right? For example, you're trying to get in your workouts more consistently, whatever time you have. Like, let's just say it's at the end of the day after work, but then you go home and then you sit down and then you don't want to get back up, right? See, that's the thing. Like, what I like kind of do sometimes is like I count to 3 really quick, and then I just put my body in motion. Even if I'm exhausted, even if I don't want to do something, like, okay, in my head, I'm like, all right, I gotta do this task at work, or I gotta complete this for work, or if I'm at home, like I gotta clean the bathroom, I gotta throw the trash out, or like,
Be blowing it up.
Not me.
Damn, Nicole.
But it's like, it's like not taking too long of a time to think or even feel what you're feeling of exhaustion at the moment, but just 1, 2, 3, boom, get up. 1, 2, 3, get up and do it. Just get it done. I think is actually a good thing to practice, because I think, and again, you're not born tough. You're like, no one's born strong. If you think about it, those are characteristics. Like, no, actually, those are traits that we have to develop and practice the characteristics that make up those traits.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like a muscle. Like, your muscle doesn't grow when you're born out the womb. You got to put in the what? Like, you don't. Sorry. Like,
the muscles definitely are born when you come out the womb.
I meant like your goal for your. You know what I mean? You weren't born with like. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, the body.
You're definitely born with muscle, but you're not born with muscle that continuously grows by itself.
Exactly. Or you're not at where your goal is right when you're born,
right? Or
right at the moment. Meaning, what I'm trying to get at is you have to put in the actual reps consistently, repetitively, right, for you to achieve the goal, right? So even on the times that it seems like it feels the hardest, just putting yourself through the action and doing the action immediately, consistently, and doing the repetitions is actually what's gonna build up your mindset, your mental toughness, and help you create those habits.
Yeah, I mean, like, I would say, going back into like the pullers, closers, and cleaners, like, in talking about preparation, like you were talking about, like, cleaners, those unstoppable people, like, they're always prepared. They plan out the day before, right? They know their schedule for the next day. They pack their food, so they know they're going to eat. They pack their gym clothes if they know they're going to hit the gym on the way home. They don't leave things up just to opportunity and just fly by the edge of their seat. They don't wait for the right moment, right? We didn't wait for the perfect moment. I mean, damn, we opened during COVID, right? If we were playing it safe, we would have made sure COVID was gone before we opened the gym. We did it on the tail end of COVID. That there was a lot of moments when we're like, just in case we do have to close, how are we gonna swing this? Because it was like gyms still were just being opened and everything like that, and we decided to sign a lease. And we're like, we could do it. And then people are like, what? People are coming in. What happens if if COVID hits again? Don't even worry, we have a game plan. We had no game plan.
Honestly,
right?
Me and Devin talked about, like, this is like the mindset that we're talking about. Like, when me and Devin had that conversation, like, dude, like, what if it does happen and like shit, like they go crazy again, then they do a lockdown? We talked about blinding up the windows in the front of the gym and just like reaching out to like the members that do want to come and like work out. We're gonna let them in through the back door.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, think about that. Like, going against like the grain, going against what like most people find that it's like unacceptable.
Yeah,
that's the thing. You have to be unacceptable to attain your goal. Like, you have to go step out of the norm.
Right. I don't know where you're going with that. It's unacceptable to not accept your responsibility and take action for your goal, right? You can't wait for the right moment. You have to create it, and you create it by consistently putting in the work and taking action on opportunity as it presents itself, even when no one's watching, right? Life's not a social media channel, right? You don't do things for the praise, right? We don't do things. If you donate, let's say, for example, you donate, some toys, you're not doing it to post a picture. Look, I just donated a toy. You're doing it because someone else needed it, right? So same thing goes for the work that goes to your goals. if you want to check into a gym, that's awesome. Check into Strive 11 Fitness, just saying. But if you're checking into a gym, like, and you're just doing it so that everyone else knows that you went to the gym today, it's like you're doing it for the wrong reasons, right? And going into like doing things like you were saying and not worrying about perfection, because perfection is not the goal, right? The goal is the goal. There is no perfection. Perfection is just a perception of what you think perfection is, right? Because what is the perfect girl? What is the perfect guy? It's all in your eyes what that would be. What would be the perfect gym? Well, that can have 10 different spins on it. What is the perfect, car? Again, 10 different spins on it. So what is your goal? Dream body? Again, different spins on it. So there is no perfection. In your eyes, there might be a perfection, but again, you have to realize that your goals and everything, if you wait and try to create the perfect game plan or perfect action plan, you're never going to achieve it, because there's things that you don't know. There's obstacles that you don't know until you arrive at them.
You don't know what you know.
You don't know what you don't know, right? And you have to realize that being relentless is truly just a work ethic, right? It's one of those things where it is a trait like a muscle, right? You're not going to want to feel like doing things, but then you do it anyways. And then again, something else comes up and you don't want to go to this, because you'd rather be, sitting on the couch eating, ding dongs and Twinkies. But again, you go to it anyways. And over time, you start becoming more and more relentless, and those little things aren't even an issue anymore. Now the problems that you face are bigger, or the obstacles that you face are bigger. But again, those problems don't seem as big as they would, in the beginning of your journey. What? What are you laughing at now?
Your example. I was just
What, you ate a Twinkie today?
no. First of all, I didn't even know they still made Twinkies. I was like, when you were saying that, I was like, yeah. So you guys need to stop being relentless on that fucking couch and Twinkies.
Yeah, you fucking ding dong. But I mean, honestly, guys, like, it's just the biggest thing that both of us hate, and I know you hate it when someone else gives it to you, is an excuse, right? There's no room for any excuse, whether it be to someone else or to yourself. And like, I made a post about this the other day. It's like, if you wouldn't accept this, and this is something that we talked about in the other episode that you were on, right? If you wouldn't accept it from someone else, then why do you accept it from yourself, right? And like I've thought about that a few times after I said it, because half the time I say things and don't think about it, they just come out. Sometimes they're good, sometimes you're like, what are you saying? I'm like, honestly, I don't know. But that's how you have to think of things in any area of life, right? Why are you going to accept settling if you wouldn't allow your kids to settle for just being mediocre? Why would you accept settling if you wouldn't accept your team to settle for mediocre? From your colleagues, whatever. Like, it can go any which way with that. But again, if you wouldn't accept it from someone else, why are you going to allow yourself to do it? And if you tell yourself you're going to do something and you don't follow through with it, how would you feel if someone else told you they were going to do something and they didn't follow through with it? Right? It all goes back to the same thing. You have to treat yourself better than someone else would, treat you. Mm-hmm. Right? At the end of the day, if you don't believe in yourself, then how can someone else believe in you? Right? You have to bet on yourself. And I know it's like a cliche to, say like, oh, just bet on yourself, go all in. But that's what you have to fucking do.
Yeah.
Like, that's how you achieve your goals. You haven't lost weight, trying before. That's fine. You lost that one bet. That doesn't mean you lost it in life. Mm-hmm. You fucking put your chips back on the table and you fucking go all in this time.
Mm-hmm. And like, when you make a bet on something, is the thought process behind it is like, everything in like you're within you wants it to happen. You know what I mean? And it's all on you to put in the effort to make it happen.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, when you people don't, like, I guess most people don't want to bet on themselves because they're afraid, or like they don't want to put in the work. You know what I mean? To be able to win the bet.
And that's what I think. Like, think about, like, let's say like a blackjack table, right? You have all your chips in front of you. And so most people will put like a chip or two down in front, right? And they still have all these chips back here. And yeah, they want to win this little bet. But at the same time, they know that they're comfortable back here, that if they lose that bet, that they can bet again and bet again and bet again, right? But at the same time, at one point, those bets are going to run out, which means life has expired, right? So why not this time fucking go all in, right? There is no plan B. And if you win, then you're winning big.
You double up.
And then there is no losing,
Mm-hmm.
because your chips stay on the table as long as you don't give up.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Wouldn't you take that bet in the casino if you just didn't pull your chips back, they wouldn't take them from you? I would leave that fucking there all day long, right? But it's the same thing in life. No one's taking your chips away. You're the only one that takes your own chips away,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you throw it on the floor, right? Here's two more. Okay, well, shit. That means you're basically putting your toes in the water but not jumping in.
Mm-hmm.
You need a cannonball in that bitch.
Now you're not wet. Devin always bets on black.
That's true.
And yeah, he always goes all in.
That is not true. I did not bet a casino like that, okay? But that was just for the hypotheticals. But we do want to keep this a little bit shorter for today, guys. And we are going to kind of continue on these topics of really trying to get you to finish this year off strong, and more so to realize that even though we say finish this year off strong, it's because we don't want you to view things in segments as, this year, next year, this week, next week. We want you to realize that life is, like Nick said, a horizon, right? When you look at the horizon, if you're looking at the beach, you can't see the end of it. You can see a certain part of it, but then it gets smaller and smaller and smaller to a point that you may not be able to see, but it's still there, right? And that's the same thing with your journey. Just because you're breaking it up into 2024, January 1st is a day later, and it doesn't care what you did on the day before unless it was towards your goal. If you decided, today is the last day of the year, I'm just going to slack off. Well, guess what? Your goals are like, well, fuck you, we're starting off the year slow then,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's where we want to kind of focus these last few weeks and topics that we do lives on, really making sure that you're getting the concept in on really building your mental toughness.
Yeah, we're trying to help start training your mindset already, prior to January 1st, because January 1st is just another day, just like today.
Exactly. The pursuit of your goals never ends, just like your relentlessness can't ever end, right? You can have off days, but consistency beats intensity, right? Consistency. And while some days it might be more intense or you might be able to give more effort, but as long as you're giving everything you can every single time, then no one can, be upset. And at the end of the day, when I say no one, I mean you,
Mm-hmm.
right? You can't be upset with yourself if you left it all out there on the floor,
Mm-hmm.
right? So with that being said, guys, make sure you guys share this episode with a friend. Make sure you guys tell a friend that we go live on Fridays. Because honestly, that's, again, what we do it for. We do it to interact with you guys. We do it to engage with you guys. But we want to make sure that we're not just doing the lives just to do them. We want to make sure that you guys are actually getting stuff out of it. And the best way for us to know that you guys are actually enjoying the lives is to see the viewer count, I guess, on the lives continue to grow, right? So we do appreciate you guys for supporting us and for tuning into the lives. Make sure you guys tell a friend so that we can help them as well, right?
See you guys later.
Peace.
No negative vibes, only positive thoughts. 'Cause in the game of life, mindset calls shots. Got my mind on the prize, I can't be distracted. I stay on my grind, no time to